Hey, it's Big T. Today I'm gonna put together a fly I've been tying fishing lately called the Sexi Ostrich. And we're gonna use a couple of materials that aren't normally used in the manner, or at least one, that we're gonna use them. So we're starting out with a scud or a midge hook. This is a Big T midge hook in the size 12. With a 3.3 millimeter tungsten black, glossy black bead. I've really enjoyed fishing some glossy black stuff lately on my more natural looking flies. I feel like it's worked real well for me and given the fish a little bit different look. I'm just going to put down a thread base. I'm going to take that to about halfway down the bend of the hook. And then we're going to tie in some MFC barred Sexi floss. Now this is a material that is more traditionally used as a legging material, either girdle bugs, hoppers, things of that nature. Today we're going to use it as a body. And because it's barred, it's going to give it a segmented look. We're going to tie that in right behind the bead. And then I'm just going to pull it, stretch it a little bit to flatten it out as I come down to about halfway down the hook bend. And we'll take it up to, I'd say a bead and a half length from the back of the bead. And we'll begin to wrap this. We're not going to leave any spaces in between, but we're not wrapping on top of itself either. This is I believe it's an amber Sexi floss piece. And again, with the black barring, it does give it a little bit of a different look. And we'll tie that down with several turns, securing it real well. When I cut that off, I tend to pull and stretch it. And that leaves very little, if any, tag there. The next thing I'm going to tie in is a piece of scud back. We're going to use brown scud back on this particular fly. If I can find it, which is not atypical. Oh, there it is. My wife hates it when I look for things. I can't find anything. So right now this piece is just squared off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a point with my scissors. It doesn't have to be pretty, but what that does is it just makes it a little bit easier to tie in. And we'll tie this in right behind the bead and wrap over top of it, keeping it centered. And we'll take it back about a third of the way down our body. What we want to do is we want to leave a nice lengthy body piece there, but have enough room here when we fold it back over to have a scud back type or a shell back type look to it. I'm next going to take a hen feather. This is a hen cape feather, and I'm going to hold the tip and preen these fibers back. I'm going to come in and trim that down, so I've just got a small triangle as my tie-in point. And I'm tying this in upside down, right behind the bead. Keeping those feathers preened back. And then next we're gonna grab some ostrich. I've got 3 fibers of ostrich plume in brown. And I'm gonna trim these ends off so I can square it off and tie this in right where we left off tying that feather in and wrap up to behind the bead. These guys can act a little squirrely if you try and simply wrap them independently. So I'm taking a hackle plier and I'm going to twist these together, and that will force them to behave. And then we'll come over top and wrap this forward. Before tying it off right behind the bead. And then trim off our excess. Now we're going to come over top first with our feather. What we're going to do is we're going to take these fibers and pull them back now. And what that'll do is it's going to create a leggy look for us. Make sure that's centered. And then we'll come over top of that with our scud back. And then make a couple turns in front before we trim that off. We're going to clean that up a little bit. With a few wraps and a whip finish. Then what I'd like to do is I'm going to come and touch the body up with just a hair of Solares bone dry. That really makes the color pop. I don't want to get it on my feather itself, and in an ideal world I would have remembered to do this immediately after I put that Sexi floss on. That's your best time to do it. And then I'm going to come back with a thicker version of UV resin. This is the Solares. This is actually their medium viscosity, but you can do thick as well. And I'm just going to put that on the scud back itself and the thread. That'll give it some strength, keep that thread from coming off, and give it a nice look for the wing casing. And there you have it. We got a nice leggy look, we got some segmentation, we've got a good bit of contrast between light and dark colors. If you want to purchase the materials for this fly, please visit my website, bigtflyfishing.com, where we have all kind of fly tying materials and fly fishing supplies for all your needs. And please subscribe to my channel as well. Thanks so much for watching.